Last day of April. And on this last day of April, we're going to talk about area of parallelograms and triangles. And you've got a regular week this week, and then next week they have changed your dates for your geometry EOC. They will be next Thursday and Friday. Next Thursday and Friday. So, if you're one of them organized people that keeps a schedule, just come to school those days, please, and take your geometry EOC so you don't have to make it up. Alright, a parallelogram. It's got a couple pairs of parallel sides. That means the top's parallel to the bottom. And the left side is parallel to the right side. This dimension right here, this red dashed line, would represent the height. And you got a base here and a base here. The key to the base and the height, base and height are always perpendicular. If you're concerned with what dimension to use for the base and which one to use for the height, just make sure that they are perpendicular to each other. Because in a parallelogram, the bases are going to be congruent. The parallel sides are congruent. The area of a parallelogram is equal to the base times the height. So your area equals base times height. So flip the page over and take a look at example 1 on the top of page 780. And they're asking you to find the perimeter and the area of parallelogram ABCD, and it looks something like this. Ten, 5, and 4. This is pretty straightforward. They're giving you all the dimensions. Alright, if this left side is 10, then this right side is 10. If the bottom is 4, the top is 4. And they've given you the height, which probably be about the last time you're given all that in your assignment today. So the area is going to be equal to 10 times 5. And that's 50. Your perimeter is going to be equal to the sum of the sides. So you got 2 10s, which is 20, plus 2 4s, which is 8, and 28. Alright, area and perimeter. Nice to see you. Good, thanks for coming. Alright, so let's look at example 1A on that page. which is more like your practice problems where you've got to start finding dimensions. They're given to you, but they're going to be given to you indirectly. So the top of this unit here is 21. Right side, 17. You got your red dashed line, which represents the height. That dimension is not given. And you're given this 8 down here. And you're asked to find the area and the perimeter. So look, you can do the easy part first if you want. If the right side's 17, the left side's 17. And if the top is 21, then the bottom's 21. Okay? And your perimeter would be 2 17s, which is 34, plus 2 21s would be 42. And 34 plus 42? 76. Now, your area is equal to the base times the height. Your height is the red dashed line. The red dashed line is perpendicular to the base. And it forms a right triangle over here. Yeah, so you're going to use the Pythagorean Theorem to find the height. So your height squared plus 8 squared equals 17 squared. So subtract 64 from each side. Your h squared is going to equal 17 squared minus 64. To 25. You're going to square root those, and h equals 15. So the height of this parallelogram is equal to 15. So your area is going to be equal to your base, 21, times your height, which is 15. That's 315. Everybody all right with that?
No. What else line is it, please?
All right, so look at example 2. And example 2. Find the area. And that's, we're not doing circles, so we got this right here. And let's see, here's your height. The dimensions of this here parallelogram are 8.5. You got a 45 degrees right here. So you're starting to think, oh, I remember special right triangles. Right? That's what you're thinking as soon as you saw that 45 and that 90-degree angle. So if the left side's 8.5, the right side's 8.5. If the bottom is 15, the top is 15. And you got to find the area and the perimeter. So 2 15s, that'd be 30. 2 8.5s would be 17. And so 47 is the perimeter. Then your area is going to be equal to the base times the height. So it's going to be 15 times the height. You don't know what the height is yet, do you? Do they give you any other dimensions in there? Nope. So look, if this is a 90-degree angle down here, and one angle's 45, what's the other angle?
45.
Very good. That's a special right triangle. So the legs are congruent, aren't they? And aren't they equal to the hypotenuse divided by the square root of 2? Remember that? So this leg, or this height, is going to be equal to 8.5 divided by the square root of 2. So just type it into your calculator. And I get 6.01. So let's just use 6. So 15 times 6 is going to be your area. So that's 90. So look, if they showed that as one of the examples and they gave you the hypotenuse, you think they may ask you this same type of problem but give you this piece? Okay, and if they do, then you would multiply a leg times the square root of 2 to get the hypotenuse in a 45, 45, 90. All right? Because you need this piece and this piece to find the perimeter, don't you? Okay. And example 2a, looky there, they do it. So let's just do that one while we're here. You got this. Here's your height. This is a bad triangle, but you'll get the idea. So you got this piece as 9. And you're told that that's 45 degrees. The top is 17. And you need the area and the perimeter. So if the top is 17, what's the bottom?
17.
Good, 17. If this is a right triangle with one 45-degree angle, the other angle is 45, and the two legs are congruent. So what's the height of this triangle? 9. And what's the hypotenuse? 9 times the square root of 2. Right? So let's see. 9 times square root of 2. 12.7? Okay, so 12.7. Alright, so we got a 17 and a 17. Let's finish up with the perimeter. 17 and 17 is a 34. Plus a 12.7 and a 12.7. 25.4. And that plus 34 equals 59.4. $59.4. Ashley. So the area is going to be equal to the base, which is 17, times your height, which is 9. 153. Everybody all right so far? And let's do one more example. So now, in order to be fair to all the special right triangles in the world, if they gave you a problem using a 45, 45, 90, do you think they may use the other special right triangle? The 30, 60, 90. So look at example 2b. Oh boy. Looky there. I keep hitting that circle button by mistake. We'll fix that. And you got a 32 across the top. You got your height, which is not given. You got a 30-degree angle. You've got this little piece of the triangle that's 12. And that's all they give you. But that's all you need, right? If this right triangle is a 30, 60, 90, well then isn't the hypotenuse twice the short leg? Remember that rule? Hypotenuse is twice as long as the short leg. The short leg is opposite the smallest angle. So 12 times 2, which is 24, gives you your hypotenuse. The short leg times the square root of 3 gives you the long leg. So that height is 12 times the square root of 3. If the right side's 24, the left side's 24. And if the top's 32, well then the bottom is 32. And now you've got all your dimensions to find your area and your perimeter. So the area is going to be equal to the base, which is 32, times the height, which is 12 radical 3. So 32 times 12 times square root of 3. And 665.1. 665.1 as your area. And then your perimeter is going to be the two 24s, which is 48, plus the two 32s, which is 64, and 64 plus 48, 112. So there's your perimeter, and there's your area. Everybody all right with that? Okay, we're going to stick with, let me see. Yeah, we're going to stick with parallelograms today. We'll cover triangles tomorrow. The next type of problem that you're going to see today is when you have to find maybe an area, not an area, when you have to find a base or a height. So let's do that. All right, you're given this parallelogram. You're given a base of 8. You're given this dimension out here. And they extend it twice. Now, do you see how this red segment that I just dashed in is perpendicular to the base extended? That still represents a height, okay? And in this case, they're calling it x. You're told that the area equals 148. You're asked to find x. Well, doesn't area equal base times height? You're given the area, 148, equals the base, which is 8, times the height, which is x. So you're just working backwards. Divide both sides by 8. $18.5 is equal to x. Alright, so your height is 18.5. Anybody got any questions related to parallelograms? Finding the area, finding the perimeter, or finding a missing dimension? All right, so some practice problems for today. We'll start on page 783. One through 4. 8, 10, 11, 14, 18 and 20, then 42 through 45. Make sure you're checking your odds in the back of the book as you're doing the problems.